How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews. Back with yet another review. A little bit of itty bitty ABV 750 hopeful goodness in the form of Side Project Brewing's. It's a Rosé de Pays. I have not had this before. I have had its cousin before, Beer de Pays from Side Project. That beer came via Dustin from Tennessee, as does this one. He sent me off about 4 beers. It was, beginning of 2019, 4 Side Project beers, and I reviewed them. Go back and watch them. Awesome beers, and then he ended up grabbing a couple bottles. I bought a couple bottles while he was at Side Project later on, and he mailed it out to me, and I just got it right before Thanksgiving, and he threw in a couple extras, and this is one of them. Kind of excited to dive into it, give it a whirl. Get this tape off here. You can go check him out. T and Craft Beer. I think it's T_Craft Beer on Instagram. Dude just drinks crazy whales, like 9 Z's all the time. So, well, he sends me free beers, so that means he's awesome, at least to me. But no, he's friends with Kyle from the Hype Beer Reviews, so he's just a good dude. You see him in oh wow, that was pretty hard to get off. You see him on the YouTubes every now and then with friends behind the bar, behind the basement, in the basement beer reviews. Jesus Christ, behind the bar. God damn. I'm fucking horrible at remember names and shit. Anyway, so we'll see what's what. Label-wise, it is what Side Project does, which I'm a fan of. As far as the back goes, just to give you a little bit of context, it says Rosé de Pays is our delicate Missouri table Saison, which was inspired by the French classic Saisons, and Belgian countryside rosé type wines, and it basically took their Beer de Pays and kind of blended it, and then did age it in a barrel, and then bottle carbonated it. So it's kind of like a second cousin of that Beer de Pays, which I actually enjoyed quite a bit. It definitely looks like a fruited beer. I mean, you're talking about that rosé. They are putting on Chambord grapes. And I assume this is closer to that color, so I assume it's a rosé type grape, I assume. And they're talking about soft tannins and soft dryness and beautiful color. Yeah, and that is a damn pretty beer, if you ask me. So let's see if we can get a nose on this sucker. Yeah, I mean, it smells like more like a white wine to me, more than like a rosé. But your rosés, I'm wine ignorant, so if I screw up here, yeah, have fun. I assume wines, rosés are kind of meeting in the middle of what you get from a white wine and a red wine. For me, when I've had rosés, I'm sure there are hot garbage, the ones that I've had. They've leaned more white than red wine, but just a little bit more kind of a richness to them. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Nothing too crazy. Definitely getting soft wood in here, both from a vanilla and oak kind of component. And then you're getting a soft kind of slightly elevated, heartier version of a white wine, like a Venice note. That's pretty much it. I mean, soft acidity, soft tartness, nothing too crazy. Let's dive in. Cheers. It's potable water. I said that before in a couple of reviews. And that's not a negative thing. This is the kind of shit that I want to drink. And this is what I want to have coming out of my faucet. I want Allagash, tiny, tiny house. I want that coming out of my faucet. I want a couple different beers coming out of my faucet, and this would be one of them. It's above some of those beers as far as aggressiveness goes, because you get that Venice note. It comes off slightly wine grape juicy, but not in the form of it's not beer anymore. It's definitely still beer. Spot on cash money carbonation on this. I think if this is a little bit lower carbonation, it would just fall a little flat. No pun intended. I think it's borderline getting to a point where it's just before it's too aggressively carbonated, and I think that's where this beer needs to be, because it adds this kind of sprightliness to it. It gives you a little bit of kind of a sparkling wine kind of effect that kind of works really well with this beer. That oak lends itself to a little bit of soft dollop, ever so slightest bit dollop of a vanilla. It's more like a creme kind of, or even marshmallowy kind of thing. A little bit not as sweet kind of vanilla, but it accentuates that yeast, kind of marries with a bit of that oak, adds a little bit of dryness to this, and ends up making it just a super palatable, super cool, super drinkable beer. when I talk about that whole tap water thing, there's beers that I really enjoy. It just by taste that I wish I could just open my faucet and just drink. That would be awesome, would it? More often than not, they're lower ABV beers like this one. I don't know if I actually said the ABV on this, which is a solid and staunch 4%. Then there are beers that I talk about, like the acidity, the pH balance in them is spot on, harmonic with at least my system, my body. It's a lot of Hill Farmstead beers. It's definitely a lot of Suarez beers, those kind of beers. This is kind of meeting in the middle of both of those worlds, because there is a soft acidity in there into it, but it's super drinkable and super easy to drink. But then it has enough taste and just enough kind of expressiveness for me to kind of get interested by it. So yeah, those grapes come through, and they're kind of leading the pack. But again, like I said, it still remains a beer. Really wonderful carbonation. Soft dryness from both the yeast and the oak. A soft tartness. Nothing overly aggressive. And just something that's super drinkable. Super crushable. Good beer. That's what it is. So let's talk about it. Is this one of the better fruited Saison? I guess is where we'd put this. That I've had as of late. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's up there. Towards the top, if not in the top. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Kind of wish I opened it tomorrow. This is the day. I actually got this today, and I opened it the day before Thanksgiving. I want to eat food with this. Maybe I'll cap this and open a little bit tomorrow. We'll see what's what. Value and availability. I don't know how much this cost. If anybody out there that way knows what's what when it comes to pricing, that would be great. But I don't think their bottles cost that much, to be perfectly honest with you. So, I mean, they can be had brewery only, but, I mean, if you go there, you're going to get them. Leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like your modern American-made kind of fruited Saison, we're talking, again, the Hills of the world, the Suarez of the world, those kind of breweries that are doing that stuff and doing that stuff well, you'll dig this. It's that kind of mixed culture, pseudo-wild fermentation kind of thing that so many people try to copy, but few do it really, really well, and that's where kind of this beer sits at the really, really well end of the spectrum. So there you go. Another review in the books. There you go. I don't know what else to say. MassiveBeers@gmail.com. Check me out there. Beer Massive, if you want to hear me doing podcast stuff, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of side project right now, and hopefully see you next time. Cheers.